something you're going to have to remember. Now, I'm going to hop up to section 3.6 here, and then we'll hop back down to 3.5 again with polyatomics. But with the polyatomics, I'll have those as a separate video in part 3. Now, if you have two nonmetals that are bonding together, okay, we're going to be looking at the IDE ending. And what we need to do is if two nonmetals are bonded together, they are making what is called a molecular compound, a molecule. And remember, there's a little stair step over here. All the nonmetals are located on the right-hand side of the periodic table. Now we're going to be using these prefixes here to denote the number of atoms that are actually found in the chemical formula. We've not done that before, and we only use it for nonmetals bonding with other nonmetals. So you're going to have a prefix in front of the name of your first nonmetal ion, and then a prefix in front of the name of the second nonmetal plus the IDE ending, just like we did before. But we're going to say how many of each atom is present. So you'll notice here there are two phosphorus, so that's why it's called diphosphorus. We're naming the first metal, or excuse me, the first element. It's a nonmetal, so it's just phosphorus. And then oxygen is going to be the oxide, because we have to have the IDE ending, but we want to tell everyone there's 5. So we're going to use the prefix pent. Now, what we're going to see is the prefix for 5 is penta, but you're going to see that oxide also begins with an O. So if we put this word together, it would say pentaoxide, which is really weird. And so we drop that final A in the prefix if it is an A, and then smush it onto oxide. But if we had dioxide, saying we have 2 oxygens, we don't get rid of that final vowel. We wouldn't say doxide, because that'd be a weird dog name or something. So if the prefix has an A on the end of it and we're putting it on oxide, we would drop the A. The same thing here with carbon monoxide. Now, if you only have one of that first element, don't say mono blah and then monooxide. Okay? Because we don't say monocarbon monoxide. It just doesn't go that way. If there's only one of the first element, you just name the element. Now here with monoxide, normally the prefix for 1 is mono, but you'll see that if you put it on oxide again, that final weird vowel, so if you've got an O or an A on your prefix and you're putting it on oxide, you got to drop that final O or A, otherwise this is called monoxide. Okay, it's like the name of a really bad boy band. So let's look at our prefixes. You need to know these up to 10, and so if you just don't want to memorize them, just stick them on your note card. But if we were to put these onto oxide, you were going to drop the final O or the A if you're going to put this on oxide. But of course, if it goes on anything else, we're not going to do that. Okay? So again, you're going to need some practice at all this fun stuff. Now, we've got carbon dioxide, 1 carbon, 2 oxygens. So these are nonmetal with a nonmetal. Sulfur with 6 fluorines. So we've got sulfur fluoride, and again, there's only 1 sulfur, so we're not going to say mono, but we are going to say hexa, saying that there are 6 fluorines in the formula. Now here we're going to have to say that there are 2 nitrogens, so dinitrogen, name the first element, and then we have oxide again, but we want 4, and the prefix for 4 is tetra. And so again, because we're putting tetra on oxide, we want to drop that final vowel, so it's to drop tetroxide. Oh, say that. So let's look at some here. So what we're going to name the first element, hydrogen, and then we have iodide. Okay? Now we have nitrogen trifluoride as our next one. We have 1 sulfur and 2 oxygens, so we're going to have sulfur dioxide. We have 2 nitrogens, so dinitrogen, and then we want to say there are fluorochlorines. So that is tetrachloride, 4 of the chlorines. So then we have NO2, which is nitrogen dioxide. And then we have dinitrogen monoxide as the bottom. And nitrogen dioxide is toxic here. But dinitrogen oxide, dinitrogen monoxide, saying there's one of it, is actually laughing gas. And so it is not toxic. But nitrogen dioxide is usually found in smog. And when it gets to large levels, it can become toxic. Whereas N2O, which is a little different, is what they may give you at the dentist's office to make you mellow out or laugh so that you're not so stressed when you get your teeth worked on. All right, so this is the end of part 2 of section 3.5/3.6. We're kind of combining them together, and we'll make one more video for this week.